done it! I cannot believe it! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
Hello everyone, we are Through on Goal, a podcast where we talk about football and pretty much nothing else. My name is Sam and as always I'm joined by my very best friend and birthday boy himself. It's Elliot. Hello Elliot.
Thank you very much, Sam. Hello.
Happy birthday. How are
Thank
you?
you. I'm good. I've had a nice couple of days. Got to celebrate. I've got to see you and the family. And no, it's been good. It's been good. How's your week been?
Yeah, it was nice. Obviously, son's first birthday next week, so I went down to Kent to visit my family. I think you were there, but I think I've blocked that 2 hours of my life out. In all fairness, there was a bit of a blur, that 2 hours. I think there is only one place to start, and that is PSG. No, joking. The one place to start is Gillingham v Hull City. We both went into the game very different, and we both came out of the game very different.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I was like, oh, we're definitely going to beat Hull, but I was thinking, well, we got a good chance here. And then Lewis Potter in 3 minutes goes, all right, Sam.
There you go, have that.
Have that. To which, and then that just kind of, you talk first, because it's very rare on this podcast that we say positive things about Hull City. So let's start with you.
This is 17, 18 weeks in, something like that. And to be honest, there hasn't been a lot of positive Hull City news, but this is one positive. But also, just to start off, there must be hundreds, if not thousands, of football podcasts that must record on a weekly basis, just the same as we do. And how many of them will be starting the first week of the season with Gillingham versus Hull City? That's our unique selling point, that.
Tell your friends, Gillingham and Hull friends.
But yeah, I mean, going into the game with the end of the season we had, and sort of I feel like our pre-season was very there was a real lack of preparation for the season.
It wasn't really much of a pre-season,
if I
remember correctly.
We still haven't got an away kit. We're 3 games into the season. But
yeah, you have a home kit and a third kit.
Yeah, going into the game, if you'd offered me a point, I'd have probably taken it, to be honest, because I know Gillingham they ended the season, or I say ended the season. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
They had a very good end to what the season ended up being, and they seem to have had a much more positive pre-season. They've been playing friendlies left, right and centre. They've been getting some good results. I remember a win against Watford, and yeah, I'd have taken a point, to be honest. But we came out of the blocks very fast. Yeah, as you say, Keane Lewis Potter scoring within 3 minutes. And I know we're bad at predictions, and this is quite out there. I think if Keane Lewis Potter gets the game time he deserves, he is well within the shout of the Golden Boot for League One this season, especially if he's played through the middle. Because he played midweek in the EFL Trophy in our defeat to Leicester under-21s. But in truth, we were playing an under-21s team as well. And he scored a cracking header. It was sort of Van Persie-esque header. And I think the lad's a real talent.
Right.
And we controlled the game pretty well. I don't think Gillingham were too disgraceful, to be honest. And without trying to big us up too much, there's going to be a lot easier games for Gillingham this season than playing relegated Hull City.
So I don't remember seeing Gillingham have a shot on target. I cannot remember.
So I watched back through the highlights today because we missed like a couple of minutes earlier on because there was messing up with the stream and whatever. But John Akindi did have a shot at goal not long after Keane Lewis Potter's goal went in.
Right.
But
that was Gillingham's only shot on target.
Yeah. I think the general play wasn't that bad from Gillingham, but it was just that cutting edge, that final ball was always getting cut out, or they were second to the header or that kind of thing.
It got to a point where what I was watching, like the first half and beginning of the second half, came out a bit strong. Gillingham looked like they seemed to be going to the wing. Obviously, Graham on the wing, he could whip in a cracking cross, and getting the ball to Roberts as well. And Akinde was a big force up front. We lost Carl Dempsey a little bit into the second half, which was a little bit annoying.
That doesn't look to be too serious, though, does it?
No, so
which is good.
Yeah, that's good news there. Obviously, first game of the season, you can't lose your captain. Yeah. But it was just hoofball. That's all it was. It was such a League One side that I was watching. It doesn't look like a team that wants to be in the Championship. Yes, Hull are too good for League One. Like the squad, and like in recent years, Hull shouldn't be in League One. Yeah. And you could really tell the difference between a Championship side and a League One side in that game yesterday. Looking at the stats, and we love a good stat, Elliot. We love a good stat.
We do love a
However,
good stat.
these stats depress me, and I don't like these stats. But Hull had 16 shots and created 15 chances. Gillingham had 5 shots and created 5 chances.
Right.
It's not, and obviously 58% possession for Hull, 42 for Gillingham. Gillingham, that one shot on target, Hull had 5. You could tell the difference. I guess it's annoying that game was first game of the season, because let's say, for instance, Gillingham had a good first 5 games, maybe unbeaten, and Hull same kind of form, then that would have been interesting to see. So the Gillingham v Hull game in March, I'm quite
that'll be a very
intrigued
good test for both sides.
Seeing how well, from a Gillingham point of view, if they do maybe hit the ground running a bit after this, as you said, no disrespect, there are easier games in League One, I think, other than Hull. Hull are probably, are they one of the favourites for promotion this season, to be fair,
aren't they? I think we're lower than you'd expect on the odds. I think we're maybe like 6th or 7th favourite. But if you look on paper, there aren't a lot of better squads than ours in the league.
No, and to be fair to Gillingham as well, Gillingham had like 6 debutants yesterday.
Yeah.
Obviously, Akinde joined in January, but January to what? End of February was pretty much when things started to go. Graham has joined, he was on loan, so he's played for Gillingham a little bit. I wouldn't this is their first full season. Obviously, Mackenzie at right back was not good. He was massively found out at right back there.
I told you in sort of the build up to the game that him being at right back with Ryan Jackson having been sent off in the previous game, that Mackenzie can play a number of positions and right back's probably his worst, because he just hasn't got the pace to sort of battle with the wingers, and he did get found out a little bit, and he was going to get found out by a team that knows him well.
There was no question of his defence, but when he was defending, like he made a couple of good tackles. He was in the box well, but as I said, that in the centre back pairing of Macomber and Medley didn't look confident when the ball was coming to him in the box, like clearing their lines and stuff. It just seemed a bit quite etchy. It seemed a bit, I don't know. So I don't know. As I said, it's that Gillingham's obviously next game is Coventry in the Carabao Cup, which is a big test, obviously championship side, and then we're away to Wigan, who have just been obviously relegated. Did lose the first
apart.
game. But Hull could either be really easy or really difficult, because obviously, you got Leeds in the Carabao Cup.
I'd write that off. I'd just go with the youth team, to be honest. I'd write off all and every cup and just focus on getting. It's going to be a busy season anyway, with Saturday, Tuesday. There's no need to make it even busier than it already is. But
Hull have in a row the 3 promoted teams from League 2, obviously starting with Crewe at home, away to Northampton, and then back at home to Plymouth. They've been promoted. They want to prove a point and stay in League 2, stay in League 1, sorry. But obviously Hull want to prove a point and get back to the Championship. So it's quite
But going into those next 3 games, I mean, on paper, I presume we'd be favourites on all 3. And if we're looking at this in a few weeks' time and we've got 10, 12 points from 4 games, we're already starting to look back into the Championship, even at this early stage. The fixture list has been kind to us, and the toughest game of the first 4 has already been, by the looks of things. I think what won us the game yesterday is that we controlled that midfield. Our midfield 3, we had Smallwood, who's now our new captain, and he's just a battering ram, really.
He's fantastic
guy, oh yeah, he's brilliant. We got Doherty, who's got a hell of an engine on him. He's not afraid to shoot. He's got really good vision for someone in this league, and in truth, he should probably be in a higher division. And George Honeyman, who had sort of a mediocre season with us last season, but he got 2 assists yesterday, and he's a real hard worker. And you compare that to your midfield, where Carl Dempsey's gone off injured in the first half, and it's
Wigan should be a good. Obviously, Coventry. I don't know how serious everyone wants to take these kind of cups. Why not have a go?
Be interesting.
But at the same time, you don't want it to affect. As you said earlier, like Saturday, Tuesday. You don't. Do you really want this kind of cup? That, let's face it. Well, you said Man City. Who did I go for? I think I went for Arsenal to win this cup this season.
Right. I think you did
in our prediction. predictions, listen to it last week. I might have a listen to it as well with you because I forgot who I predicted.
Yeah.
Where you think, obviously, are you going to try and challenge, or
Yeah.
do you want that to affect your league position too much? And I think with Evans and Gillingham, I think he wants to get them to Championship or at least challenge for playoffs. So
It must be nice for you though, as a Gillingham fan, for the first season in quite a while to be looking at the beginning of the season for the top end of the
it's a weird
table
one,
and
but
not the bottom.
it's because when you look at Gillingham's business that they've done, you can tell their spend cap has helped Gillingham with some of the signs that they've managed to get. Now, we have obviously got a couple of Arsenal loanees, and we got Robertson on loan for Celtic. But other than that, you look at Oliver, you look at Jordan Graham, Carl Dempsey, Maghoma, Mackenzie. They're all on contracts, 2-year contracts, which is weird for a Gillingham season. Because if we go up, let's say we do, there will still be those players
to go up
there.
with.
Like, there's not going to be that. We have to try and get them back on loan again. Like Wickham, Semi had to try to do because a lot of their players were on loan. But that's been positive to see this season for Gillingham. And as I said, we seem to be in a really good place where we've managed to get these players in contracts. Scally, he has that character that behind him where he's very stingy, very tight pocket, but he's kept the club afloat, so you can't fault him for that. I just hope that it looks like Gillingham are just in need of that little bit extra going down the wing. I think maybe a bit of pace and out finisher potentially. He's kept the number 9 shirt open, so who knows?
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah,
but
who knows?
I'm still it's an annoying game to lose first, especially as it's like the first game that we've seen. We didn't get to go to the stadium, but it's annoying first game to lose. But I haven't just gone, oh, for crying out loud, well, that's it, bye. I'm still feeling quite positive about the season,
and I do feel like there might be a factor of that we have played football more recently. I mean, we had a shocking end to the season, but we should at least have the fitness in the legs, and maybe that's what got us the second goal yesterday, that Gillingham haven't had that competitive football in 6 months. So it's just kind of dug us out that second goal.
When we look across the EFL, there haven't been, obviously, when we get a bit further into the season, there will be more talk, obviously, of like all the EFL games kind of thing. But looking across the teams in the EFL, there wasn't any major shocks. As I said, I was saying to you, wasn't I, Elliot, that Wickham, Rotherham, they've played each other. The last 6 games, Wickham are beaten. However, 4 of them were in League 2, and that was a championship game yesterday.
Right, yeah.
And you look at, obviously, Birmingham beating Brentford was quite a bit of a shock. And then you got QPR with 2-0 Forest, kind of a little bit there. But there's one particular EFL game that I am very curious to talk to you about, and you know which one it is.
Because I've put the notes in.
You have put the notes in. Yeah, you wrote the notes. Harrogate won 4-0 against Southend. Now, I don't know where to begin, because if you haven't, no doubt we may link it in this week. I don't know I can't remember what goal it was. It might have been Harrogate's second.
I can't remember which one it is, but
defending and the goalkeeper's position was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and it's like, because the goalkeeper's passed the ball out short to his player in the box, and it's been tackled off of him, passed across, and curled into the net, curled into the middle of the net with a keeper on the near post. But I don't know.
It's it looked like one of those pro club keepers where he's far too far to the left, but then he's got all that gap.
I should really know this, but so Harrogate had players in the box as well at the time that the goal kick was taken, but I'm not sure where the rule stands on whether that should be retaken because the Harrogate players were in the box. But is it one of those, the keeper has made the decision to take the goal kick, so that's on him?
Right, yeah, maybe. We should hosting a football podcast, we should probably be a little bit more clued up on those rules. But
but yeah, for regardless of whatever, like, the Southend players are just stopped, and they've been in freefall for a little while, haven't they? And
they have.
They could really be in danger of dropping out of the league, to be honest, and it'd be a shame to see. But it might have been a while coming.
Worth mentioning as well, Elliot, by the way, obviously Barrow's first season ever in the big time of EFL.
Yeah.
Drew 1-0 to Stevenage. Actually, Stevenage, they equalised in about the 85th minute, I think. However, it was a good start from Barrow. I still think Stevenage may be doomed, but and I've just thought another quick note as well. Obviously, it's nice to mention them too.
Of course.
So, were Arsenal that good, or were Fulham that bad?
So I think Arsenal are they're definitely improving under Arteta.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Fulham are one of those that don't think they'll stay up, to be honest. I don't think they're defensively good enough. And they started without Mitrovic yesterday, which is why they ended up not scoring. And as a Hull City fan, with them now having Ola Aina and them having Michael Hector, we've had them in the same season before. We had them in the Championship, and we were somewhat lucky to stay up. And they're now wanting to stay up in the Premier League with that. And I mean, I hope that they've massively improved from when they were with us. But yeah, I think Arsenal are definitely on the up, and I think they've got a shout of top 4 this season.
Well, you say about the reason why Fulham didn't score was obviously Mitrovic weren't there. However, you look at the debut that Gabriel had. He looked like, I think one of the pundits said that he looked like he was a seasoned Premier League defender, like he's been doing it a while, and he scored a goal on his debut. You can't, for a defender, that's always good.
Can't argue with that.
Willian, interestingly enough, another new silent, assisted all 3 of the goals. So
yeah, no, that's fantastic. And like I've always sort of rated him as a bit of a game changer, really. And
yeah,
he did do very well at Chelsea towards the end of the season.
He did,
but I think the deciding factor on why he's moved on is that Chelsea didn't want to offer him that 3rd year on a contract, and Arsenal would. So he's gone for sort of the security.
So maybe, I said maybe
3 goals on your debut.
Proves him wrong.
Very
3
good.
assists.
Like 3 assists on your debut. Yeah, very good. But yeah, that front 3 is now looking very good with Aubameyang on the left, Lacazette through the middle, and Willian on the right.
Yeah, Arteta and Aubameyang have been, teasing. Arteta, I'm pretty sure, has been confident that Aubameyang is going to be signing a new contract for the next couple of days for the past month. So
yeah.
I don't... Now, is that purely... Are they just teasing? Are they just stringing along? Is it just going to happen? Or is there something else? Because it has been going on for a while now. It's gotten to the point where you're just like, just sign it. Just sign it or you don't sign it. Like,
I wonder if there is maybe a slight bit of reluctance from Aubameyang, because this is going to be his last big contract of his career.
Yeah.
So he's got to make it a good one. And if he can get the money and the terms that he wants off Arsenal, then if that's what he's playing for, if that's what he wants to do to stay at Arsenal, fair enough. I don't know whether he's maybe attracted to going to another club, maybe a Real Madrid, something like that. But
yeah, as I said, if it was under Emery, I think Aubameyang would have already been gone. But it seems like Arteta has really made him think. They look like they have a really good relationship. You could tell that they do. And genuinely, if Arsenal keep Aubameyang and constantly improve under Arteta, the next few years could be quite an interesting one.
Yes, I think I might have even had them missing out on Europa League spaces this season on my predictions. But they are. I think they'll be in the shout for those European places. I think they've got to be. They have improved massively under Arteta. And I saw a stat before the game that the previous 50 matches against the top 6, Arsenal had won 10 with a 20% win ratio. Right. And since Arteta has come in, I can't remember the exact numbers on the wins, losses, whatever, but the win percentage is about 55%.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's like you can't even compare it.
Love a good
they
stat.
are playing that sort of trademark Arsenal brand of football that we'd have grown up watching.
I don't like saying it, but yeah, I think they're ones to watch, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
Last season, I say this time last year, kickoff definitely wasn't in September last year, but hey-ho.
About 13 months ago.
So, Liverpool host the champions of the Championship. Liverpool score 4. However, the champions of the Championship, we all watch going, okay, they gave a good fight there. They did really good. However, I feel like there's going to be something different to Leeds than what Norwich were last season, because Leeds looked really good, and I know you don't want to admit that. I know it pains you to say Leeds were good.
Yeah, they did look good. I've got to admit it. They surprised me with how they played a little bit, to be honest, because I didn't see them scoring. I think when we were talking about prediction for the match, I had it down as a 1-0 Liverpool win, because I just thought it'd be one of those ones that Liverpool haven't had the greatest pre-seasons. They just kind of eased their way back into the season. And I mean, yeah, it wasn't that. It was, well, it's without a doubt the best game of the season so far.
What? Yeah. I don't think it's going to challenge, Crystal Palace and whoever they played.
Yeah. Crystal Palace, Southampton. You can't forget
Southampton, right, yeah, of course. My apologies.
Yes.
No, I know what you mean. You could argue that it was probably one of the best opening games of the season. I'd argue that probably goes to Arsenal-Leicester a few seasons back. I think it was 4-4 or 5-4 to Arsenal. Something,
Right, okay.
Something stupid like that.
Yeah, I remember it, yeah.
But Leeds, to constantly draw level 3 times, they were 1-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2-1, with 3-2, eventually 3-0. And all 3 of their goals were good. So obviously the first goal was Jack Harrison. Took it past Trent, obviously Gomez the other way, and then near post for Alisson.
Cracking finish.
Really, really good goal. And then Bamford, who we both thought, well, I mean,
That's the most disappointing bit of my weekend. That is the worst part of the weekend, that Patrick Bamford has now scored a Premier League goal.
And, well, all capitalised from a Van Dijk error, didn't it? Didn't just too casual on the ball, picked up by Bamford, really good finish. A third goal by Click, the flick up and the volley into the goal. All 3 of them were really good goals, and they and they really capitalised on a weakness. And as I said, did you see Jurgen Klopp mouth "wow" at the end?
No, I didn't.
Oh, he did. No, he mouthed
Right.
"wow," and I think that definitely sums that up.
But the interesting thing is, so you asked me on the Arsenal game, is that a matter of Arsenal being that good or Fulham being that bad? But the fact that Leeds were in the game as much as they were, was that due to Leeds being good, or was that due to Liverpool maybe not being, at least at this stage, the team that they were last season? Because Leeds scored 3 goals from 3 shots on target.
Yes, obviously one of them was a mistake from Van Dijk. You can't run from that. Capitalise.
Yeah.
One was a good pass into space, just ran in and slotted it, and it was a really good finish. And obviously the Dallas goal, the Harrison goal, obviously near post for Alisson, but the power beat him, and he did it around Arnold and Gomez quite well. You look at the first 5 minutes of that game. We watched at least the first 5 minutes together. Liverpool were all over him. The intensity, they were just attack, and then Liverpool get that penalty in the first few minutes. That could have easily have killed the game off.
That could have been floodgates already.
That's it. But they didn't. They just attacked. And I watched when I was seeing Match of the Day. They show when Leeds, I think it was build up to Leeds' third goal. They won it from a throw-in. I think they intercepted the throw-in, and then Leeds had 6 players getting into their box. That's really, really good.
One thing which is obviously worth touching upon is that they've gone away to Anfield, the title winners, the champions, and they've had more possession and they've had more passes of the ball than Liverpool have at home. And I don't think Leeds are going to be. There's been some people saying, "Oh, will they challenge for Europe or anything?" I don't think they'll be to that extent. No. I think their goal will just be to stay up. But one thing that sort of sets them aside to a lot of promotion teams and even quite a few teams already in the league is that under Bielsa they are super fit. They will just work their socks off and they can run all game, and that's how they won a lot of games last season. They can just outrun their opposition. Yeah,
that's right. I'm, as I said, coming from me, obviously I'm non-biased. Gillingham aren't rivals with anyone. It's just Swindon, but that's because of fans. Other than that, the nearest is Maidstone, who were in Conference South, I think. Ebbsfleet were in the Conference South potentially, and then London clubs.
It's maybe Millwall because
Millwall, Charlton.
The Gillingham youth like a bit of a scrap, but
the fans or the club.
Whatever.
Yeah, all the Gillingham away fans have the same haircut. So or Charlton. I think Charlton's probably the most.
A bit more
obviously,
match,
we're going to get that game this season, so that's happy days. I'm quite looking forward to seeing Leeds this season in the Premier League. It is, especially if they play that way against. I'm trying to not insult anyone, but they play like that against a Palace, or they play that way against.
West Brom or Fulham,
West Brom last season.
Maybe even a Brighton or something like that.
Like one of those Premier League teams like West Ham. That would be an interesting one.
Interesting.
I reckon they have a good shout of top half, I think. But it's difficult to say this because this is the first. It's obviously, I know this is our 18th podcast or 18th week doing it, but it's the first game. This is
of the new season.
When we first ever started talking about doing a podcast, we were going to wait until the beginning of this season to do it. But obviously, when lockdown happened, we thought, let's do it now. Let's just do it now. So this technically should have been our first ever podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're 18 weeks in, and you can't say I think Leeds Leeds are going to stay up. I think this because it's the first episode. It's the
Yeah,
not the first episode. It's the first game. You've seen weirder things.
You kind of need to give it a few weeks, just sort of let the table settle itself out for a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think.
But it's encouraging. If you're a Leeds fan, seeing that you've lost the game, but you're thinking, we made a right good go at that.
You talk of being non-biased, and obviously there is that bit of bias for me when it comes to Leeds, where they're rivals. And I think for me to enjoy watching them this season, I've got to forget the badge, I've got to forget the kit, I've got to forget the colours. I just think this is Bielsa FC. I can enjoy the football.
That old Pro Evo.
Yeah.
Just think of them in Pro Evolution Soccer, and then you'll be like, oh yeah. No, I understand it's more difficult for you because, as I said. But no, I look forward to that. So obviously we've got Arsenal looking good, the red side of North London, the white side of North London. Haven't really. No. I don't really.
Yeah,
no.
They haven't really got off to a flying start, have they? They played Everton today, and the absolute standout of that game is James Rodriguez. He's not played a lot of football in the last 12, 18 months, whatever.
No.
But he absolutely run that game. I don't even think he's fully match fit yet. And his left foot's an absolute wand. He can pick out a pass. And interestingly, so you think of James Rodriguez as an attacking midfielder, creative midfielder. He's going to be in the final third. He had as many interceptions of the ball, which is defensive midfield sort of stat, as the entire Tottenham team. And he just run that midfield. And once he gets up to speed, he could be one of the bargains of the summer, without a doubt.
So one of my favourite things to come out of that, from James Rodriguez, is not how well he did in that game and the fact that he's playing for Everton in the Premier League. It's the fact that when an interviewer asked, do you reckon James will suit the pace of the Premier League? Ancelotti said, if I cared about pace, I would have signed Usain Bolt. And I think, fair enough.
I hadn't seen that. That's brilliant.
Fair enough. That's fair play. Fair enough. So, as I said, for that, I don't think I've made it too much of a secret. For those who don't know, obviously, Tottenham are a big part of my life. My mum and dad, my uncle, my nan, they're Tottenham fans. It's what I've grown up with. So I have a love for Tottenham, which is why when it comes to talk about Tottenham, I'll talk about them a little bit more and in depth.
Yeah,
than
you know your
I
stuff.
Do with other clubs.
Yeah.
I love the Tottenham. So I said on a podcast a few weeks ago that Doherty and Højbjerg, they're not big money, they're not big signings, but they're the signings that Tottenham need. They're the signings that will do the job. I don't think this first game is a good advert for them. I don't think Doherty got subbed off in the end. I don't think he had a very good game. And Højbjerg...
They need time to gel. But
yes. Absolutely. But it's just Harry Kane had 2 touches in the opposition box.
Yeah.
That is, and I don't think that's so much a Mourinho thing. It's just the lack of creativity towards it. Obviously, Winks, Højbjerg, and Lucas didn't do very well. I don't think Davis made a lot of ground, but I don't think there's just something about that Tottenham squad that just doesn't. It needs more.
It's not complete.
But I don't know what more.
Yeah,
I mean, striker, obviously.
Yeah, I did catch some of it. I think I watched most of the second half, and I think Doherty came off for
Ndombele,
and Ndombele's first touch of the ball, he played it into Kane's feet and created a chance. And I see it all over Twitter. Spurs fans are crying out for Ndombele to play more minutes. And
he's looking a lot fitter, a lot sharper now. Obviously, he did he only played 45 minutes in pre-season because he was injured and he's coming back to fitness. Yes, Mourinho has made it very clear that in the past, Ndombele has not been his favourite player. The tracking back against Wolves, we've all seen the video. He's just jogging back again. It was shocking. And then there were images emerging after lockdown where he's quite maybe a little bit overweight. He gets a bit injured. But talks of a move away for Inter. I think Inter have wanted him, or someone in Italy, a swap move. So I don't know. If I'm assuming, yes, he's in his plans this season. He's got to be 63 million. I don't think we've watched All or Nothing.
Yeah.
After one season, Daniel Levy's going to want his 63 million back.
Yeah, he won't be ready to give up on that. He won't be ready to give up on Ndombele quite yet. I guess
Ndombele was a Pochettino signing. Mm-hmm. So whether Mourinho has kind of seen the squad and go, I don't really. It's like Eriksen at Inter Milan. That's not a Conte signing. It was very clearly the owners who wanted him.
Yeah.
And he hasn't one part of it.
Just hasn't. Yeah.
I think, again, it's still early days. First game of the season, it's always a good look. You know, Everton have had a brand new midfield. Alan, Doucouré and James, and all three of them were brilliant. It's Everton...
That's what's won them the game today.
I still think defensively, Everton are lacking a little bit, in depth at least, because I can't think of if Digne or Coleman were to be injured, off the top of my head, I haven't got anyone that screams who their backup is, if you get me.
Yeah, off the top of my head. I can't think of his name, but the one that pushed Firmino into the stands.
Is that Holgate?
I think so, yeah.
Mason Holgate?
Play right back, yeah.
Has he been on loan or has he signed somewhere?
Was he on loan at West Brom last season? Which probably means West Brom are trying to sign him. He's still at Everton. Yeah. He was on loan at West Brom last season. But yeah, he can... I mean, he is a centre-back, but he can play at right back. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
but other than that, they've got a decent manager. Good. The chairman seems to be backing them in the transfer market potentially. Everton, maybe we slept on Everton a little bit when we were doing our predictions.
There'll be an outside shot for European places.
Exactly right. So they've got the right manager and they're getting they're forming the right squad for it. So we shall see. Jamie Vardy loves West Brom, doesn't he?
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he?
He cupped his ears to an empty Hawthorn. You can't get more Jamie Vardy than that, can you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing. If you're a West Brom fan, you'll hate him. You'll despise him. But if you're neutral, you just think he's brilliant.
I don't. It's just I don't get what his problem is with West Brom. I know that it's a bit of a Midlands derby of Leicester West Brom.
I mean, it's probably. I mean, it's not a blood match, is it?
No, it's not like
it's not a Galatasaray Fenerbahce.
I think
West Brom.
Yeah, I think West Brom probably care a bit more about Wolves or or Birmingham or Aston Villa than Leicester. But it's still because it was Arsenal Fulham, and I think they said, that's Derby Day done, and I'm thinking, I guess they're both London. Is it Derby?
You're clutching.
Is it? Yeah,
clutching at straws for that one.
So. But, yeah. He's 2 penalties, obviously, and I can't say his name. Castagna got the other goal as well. Good signing that from Leicester. He right back, isn't he? He played for Atalanta last year. It was a right back or right wing back.
Yeah, no, you are right. He is right back because I thought they'd signed him as a left mid, which is why I put him in my fantasy team.
Oh right, okay. Well, I mean that was a bit of luck, isn't it? He put him in there as left mid. He still scores. He's still none the wiser.
And got a clean sheet. We do love a great stat on this.
We love a stat.
So, to go with this, Jamie Vardy, today he had no shots from open play. He had no touches in the penalty area from open play. He scored 2 penalties.
We keep this podcast PG. For 18 weeks, we've only had to use 1 beep, and that's impressive for us because we like not only do we love a good stat, we love a good swear as well. And and there's something he's a housery. That's all I need to say.
He's a housery.
Absolutely.
If you know, you know.
Elliot, we do love a good stat. Here on Goal, every Tuesday for the past 18 weeks, and for however many weeks it will be in the future until I don't know. We plan on doing this. We plan on doing this forever, to be honest. So unlucky if you don't like us, but if you like us, then
we're here to stay.
You're here to stay. We love a good stat.
Oh, this is a fantastic stat.
I'll let you say this stat because this is absolutely immediate stat.
So there's talk today of Jack Wilshere leaving West Ham, whether that be loan, permanent, ripping up the contract, telling him to leave, whatever. And it's a fantastic stat because obviously he's got the nickname Jack Wheelchair for a reason. He's a fantastic player on his day, but he's just been too injury prone throughout his entire career. And so since moving to West Ham, this is minus any sort of signing clause that he would have got through being a free agent that he would have inevitably got. So just through a standard wage, for every touch of the ball Jack Wilshere has made for West Ham, they've paid him £26,000. He's on 100 grand a week for 2 years, which adds up to around £10.5 million. And he's touched the ball in the Premier League for West Ham 404 times. So if you do the maths, it's around £26,000 per touch.
Jack Wilshere is he's played for Arsenal. He's always played for Arsenal. He's always played for West Ham. He's not ever been my favourite player in the whole wide world. I don't think he's many people's. But there's no doubt that he has quality. When he played for England, he was really good for England, I think. But I think he sometimes thinks he's just bigger than he is, if you know what I mean. And then it gets to the point where West Ham are trying to find a way to rip up your contract. It's not amazing part of your career, is it? Didn't do well at Bournemouth when he went on loan. Obviously signed for West Ham. Wherever he goes next, who knows? But I don't.
So yeah, I remember Jack Wilshere I remember two positive moments for Jack Wilshere. One of which is he ended that fantastic team move against Norwich. One of the greatest, most unique goals you'll see in Premier League history.
I agree.
It's a brilliant goal. Yeah. At that time, I really did not like Arsenal, but that was a goal you've just got to stand up and applaud.
Yep.
And the second of which is, I think he got man of the match in the Nou Camp against Barcelona on the night that they got knocked out of the Champions League.
That's no mean feat. Yeah, that's impressive.
Also, I remember a friend of mine's brother, who their whole family's Arsenal fans, who during sort of 2009, 10, 11, that kind of time, when Barcelona were in their absolute prime, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi were at their best, he said, right now, Jack Wilshere is better than Xavi.
Ooh, okay.
That's aged well.
Yeah. Oh dear. Why would you? Anyway. But yes, there's nothing. We love a good stat. That's the only reason we put that in there. Is just we love a good stat.
It is a good stat.
We didn't have a European roundup till about an hour ago.
Yeah,
did we?
It's a good job you were travelling late, because this wouldn't have been added otherwise.
I was about to say I travelled back from Kent today. Not that anyone needs to hear my life story, but I travelled back from Kent today. Got in at about 9:30. I said to Elliot, "Let me just quickly eat. I'll be on in about an hour." So we're recording this quite late in the day, a lot later than we normally do, and because of that, we actually have a small European roundup, but it's worth noting the fact that there were 5 red cards.
There ended up being 5 red cards
in the PSG Marseille game.
Yeah, so it was just absolutely bonkers. So you've got I can't remember which player did which, because there was a lot going on with a lot of players. But so ball's coming up from a goal kick. Marseille player barges PSG player off the ball, and so I think that was I can't remember which was a straight red, which was a yellow, whatever. I'll just go through it. So he barged him off the ball. The one who gets barged down, gets up, pushes the other one down, then pushes somebody else. There's then a whole sort of melee that goes on. Then after 4 players have been red carded, the ref goes across to the VAR monitor, and so he looks at something. He's there for all of about 4 seconds, where he sees Neymar punch someone in the back of the head. Now, there has been claims of racism, and that'll come out over the next few days, but he has punched someone in the back of the head, and regardless of the reason, he's going to get a lengthy ban for that. And
obviously
you can't do that on a football pitch.
No, obviously you can't condone anything.
Yeah,
until obviously there's allegations, but we'll see what happens there. Yeah.
But what makes that even more interesting, so PSG are now 2 games into their season. In the first game of the season, which I think was Thursday or Friday night, they had all sorts of players quarantined, so that they went in with a completely unrecognisable 11.
They did, yeah.
And they lost to, I can't remember the team's name, but they lost Rents. I can't remember, but they were newly promoted and they lost 1-0.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so they're now 2 games into the season, 3rd from bottom in the French league. And if they're going to be without 3 players for at least 3 games now.
It was Lens.
It was Lens,
close.
Right. But they could be in with a difficult season, or as difficult a season as PSG can get in France.
Yeah, it's interesting,
It could make for a very interesting few weeks.
Keep an eye on that. Yeah, I said I'm not a fan of French Ligue 1 football. I'm not. I don't avidly watch it. However, when I saw the stats and I saw everything on that, I was like, what the hell has happened there? And obviously,
so I think there were 10 yellow cards as well in that match. So it'd been bubbling away.
That Sky request a bet if someone stuck a tenner on 5 red cards, 10 yellows,
they'll be very happy and very rich.
What's that match? What's that? That's like, it's 20 booking points for a red, straight red, and I think there was 3, so that's like 60.
God, you're looking at it.
Yeah.
You're looking at like towards 200.
Booking points.
Yeah.
One thing to note very quickly, I don't think we did, we haven't touched upon it, but I just heard you mention VAR. John Moss, there was a VAR overturning of a red card. The first time we've really seen this happen in the Premier League.
Went to the screen.
Yeah.
And it worked well. It's
Now,
the first time
yes.
that we've seen VAR get praised.
Now, John Moss, he has his critics more than, plaudits, let's say that. However, you've got to give credit where it's due. He was told to look at the monitor. He did, realised, oh, no, that's definitely not a red, and he gave him a yellow instead. Now, that is brilliant. That is how VAR should work. Go to the screens. I've said it. I've shouted it. It was a podcast many moons ago, but you go to the screens. And he did.
Yes.
And it's worked. And I
hope it gets implemented more this season, and I hope it's just sort of a sign of things to come.
Whether that is a case of over the summer break, it wasn't really much of a break, but over the time where there was no football, whether the referees union, I don't know what they're called, had that kind of meeting to be like, right, you've here, that VAR review to be like, we need you to do this more, you need to do this more, and whether this is the start of it, fingers crossed, because that way it's it's on its way to being that improvement of when us fans watch VAR or watch a VAR decision and see the referee use it, it helps us a bit more be like, right, okay, fair enough, he's made a mistake, thank God he's seen that, let's carry on. But I'm interested to see where it goes. And so we come to No Context News to end the podcast, where me and Elliot challenge each other to find the most random news headlines from around the world that really make us think. I don't know what Elliot goes for. He has no idea what I go for. We just say the headline and end the podcast. This week it's Elliot's turn. Elliot, take it away.
Yes. Okay, so there was one thing that I couldn't find a headline on, which is definitely worth a mention, which I don't know that you maybe would have seen, which is the Hull City fan who travelled down to Gillingham to set off a flare, set off a smoke bomb.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fantastic. But the headline that I've gone with, also Hull related, is from Hull Live, the local newspaper to Hull. And it is simply, Peter Kay lookalike travels 60 miles to try Hull takeaway with hilarious results. So that's us this week.
I'm finding that headline. I want to know what it was.
Yeah. So you could follow us on Twitter at TO Goal Podcast, and we're on YouTube if you search for Through on Goal Podcast. And that's us for this week.
What's the fact that he looks like Peter Kay? Has that got anything to do with the story, or is it just so? Did the reporter just kind of go, no, he kind of looks like Peter Kay?
I don't even think he really looks like Peter Kay, to be honest.
It's just quite, I'm guessing, a fairly hefty fellow that's just gone from 60 miles for a takeaway, and to make it into a news story, they've gone, well, I guess he kind of looks like Peter Kay. We will link that this way. I want to see that.
Yeah, like I'm on it now. Like you're really pushing it.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, we'll link it. I've been Sab,
and I've been Elliot.
We'll see you next week and all season for more and more and more football. And I can't wait for this season. I don't know about you, Elliot, but I can't wait. This is going to be a big year for us, and I cannot wait to share it this year with you. So we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Up the Tigers.
All right, yeah, all right. Cut that.